Hello and welcome back to the podcast whose dreams would even creep Freddy out. Welcome back to another episode of the Love, Death and Movies podcast, Internet's number one film breakdown and review show. The show that crushes watch lists week after week. Every month is different genre, every week is different film in that genre. So follow us and everything, John us the right, let's watch the movies. As soon as I trip, I roll. Like I'm gone. It's done. With me this week, as every week, notorious Byron from New Zealand and her triumphant return, Ash vs. Movies. We're all together. The dynamic trio now. What are
Yeah,
the trouble trio? What's the trio's names?
troublemakers.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you know what I mean.
I can't help you. Sorry.
Yeah, fair play. Ash, how are you? How you doing? Give
I'm
everyone an update.
yeah, I'm here.
Yay.
In my bed, so a little different setup, but we do what we can, for the pod. But yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Definitely weird not to be on here for like a month, but happy to be back to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time.
No, we talked about Scream earlier already.
Oh shit.
This is a different film. Completely different. Completely different.
Darn.
Byron, how are you? How was your last? When did we record? We recorded the last one only like
We
4 days ago or
recorded.
something. But how are you?
What day was that? Was it?
Monday.
Yeah, yeah, 3 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, the same. There's still sport this weekend. It's all still going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I got rugby, league, fighting, more fighting. It's gonna be good. So I'm just looking forward to the weekend mostly.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Awesome. Yeah, this weekend I'm away, which can't wait for, going up to wine country. Um, we're gonna, so our plan, hopefully the New South Wales police isn't listening to this. Our plan is to hire electric bikes and to ride them from vineyard to vineyard. Found out today that's illegal. So
What?
yeah, because it's like drink driving. But
Oh.
it's like because it's electric bikes. So
It's
we're
motorized.
we're kind of tossing up. Do we roll the dice or like? So we'll see. We'll see what we do. But yeah, so looking forward to that. So yeah, I'm with Byron. It's UFC week. Huge card this week. A couple of the biggest fighters of the year are fighting. Can't wait. Be having to wake up in wine country at 5 a.m. to watch two blokes enter a cage and one bloke leave. I can't wait. It's gonna be good fun. But that's for another time, you know. Today we are finishing off the month of slashers, and we are watching one of Ash's favorite films of all time, A Nightmare on Elm Street, directed by Wes Craven in 1984. Before I turn it over to you, blokes and girls, quick synopsis. If Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. Teenagers in a small town are dropping like flies, apparently in the grip of a mass hysteria causing their suicides. I probably shouldn't have said that word. A cop's daughter, Nancy Thompson, traces the cause to a child's word I can't really say, named Freddy Krueger, who was burned alive by angry parents many years before, sorry. Kruger has now come back into their dreams of his killer's children, claiming their lives as his revenge. Nancy and her boyfriend Glenn must devise a plan to lure the monster out of the realm of nightmares and into the real world. So, Nightmare on Elm Street. Ash, we know what you think about it, but Byron, what's before we go to Ash, like your history of Nightmare on Elm Street? Like, when did you first watch it, and like, what's your original
Ooh.
view?
So after The Grudge, this was the movie that probably scared me the most.
Like Western
Uh,
Grudge, the
uh,
American one?
yeah, yes,
Yeah, not the
yeah,
Japanese one. Yeah,
yeah, like late 2000s. Was that like 2007
2000. I thought it was like 2004 or three. But yeah, continue. I'll get it for you.
I don't know. But yeah, one of the Grudge movies. Behind that,
2004.
this was the one that scared me the most.
Yeah,
Um, Now it's literally completely the opposite. It's not scary at all, and now it's really really funny. And I was going to take this moment to just praise Robert Englund because I'm going to kick this off with a take.
here we go.
He is the greatest horror antagonist, like casting wise. I think he is flawless all around. I think his line delivery is amazing. I think his physical appearance is amazing, and they did a really, really good job with this character. it's not surprising that he had many, many more movies, and despite not all of them being very good, I'm glad he got a lot of more time with this character because he did a really, really good job, and I think this is his best performance. But yeah, I've always liked the movie. It has gone up over the last 3-4 years. I had this rated the same for the majority of it. These last couple times, it's going just up and up and up. And I'll save the rating for the end, but as of right now, I love this movie, so I'm glad we threw it in here for October because it's a really fun watch and it's a good movie to talk about.
Yeah, Ash.
Yeah.
That's all that needs to be said.
So many thoughts. Yes, this is my favorite horror film of all time, and it has been for a very long time. I think I first watched it when I was like 13. So, and I'm closer to 33 than I would like to admit. So we're talking 20 years almost.
Whoa.
Yeah, put that in perspective. So yeah, I've had Freddy with me for a very long time. Surprisingly, never had a nightmare that involved him. So that's a win.
It is a win.
But yeah, no, I love this movie. I think like how Byron's talking about how it's like funny to him now. I've always thought it was like kind of a horror comedy. And I feel like if you guys think about like my top 10 horror, like half of them are horror comedies.
Makes
like
sense.
that's just my thing. So I feel like that's why I like it the most because I love slashers. But when you add this like comedic element and a comedic villain who's just fucking with people and getting so much enjoyment out of that, it's kind of just a recipe for success for me. So yeah, I love this movie. I think some of the kills are scary. Also, we can talk about some scenes when you go into it, but I think there's definitely some that are like, top of all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies in this film. And then, yeah, I think Robert Englund's great. I think he's probably the most consistent actor to play like a villain. If you think about all the other movies, the actor changes like every time. Not this one. It's him all the way through all the movies, even the shitty ones. So
especially the shitty ones.
Yeah, he brings it like
5.
They're not shitty because of him.
No, exactly.
He still brings his A game no matter what like the movie is, which
He's still
is
fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So that's all I'll say for now. But yes, I love this film.
Shout out to New Nightmare. New Nightmare rules.
So good.
Yeah, New Nightmare.
Second best one.
Yeah, New Nightmare fucking.
Yeah,
rules.
Dream Warriors. Dream Warriors for sure is the second best.
Really? No.
Oh yeah, I will
since I was a
stand
kid.
on a hill for that.
Which hill? How big is it?
Tall.
Tall hill.
Very tall.
Okay.
Tall.
So not like a mountain, like just a little hill.
I was about to say bordering on a mountain.
Yeah. All right, nice. Many boulders in this hill. Anyway, I love this movie. This movie's great. I think echo everything you guys say. Yeah, Robert Englund, one of the casting choices of the decade. To be typecast into something like this is pretty goddamn great. Who played Freddy in the remake? Was it the guy that played Rorschach, Jackie Earl? Something.
I don't know, but it
wasn't as
sucked.
good. Yeah, it was nowhere.
It sucked.
That movie was tough. Which like this might be a hot take. I know it's not Nightmare on Elm Street. I really like the Friday the 13th remake, the 2009 one. You don't like it at all?
Crazy.
It's so trashy. I hate it.
From an entertainment.
Entertainment.
Yes.
I don't think it's a great movie, but I'm always
the movie good. Fucking no.
I don't think there is
movies probably ever made.
I don't think there's a good fucking Friday the 13th. That might be a hot take.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
No. I mean, to be fair, they're all like Manhattan is like super entertaining. Probably the most entertaining one of the bunch. Not a good movie.
Is that the one where the guy squares up with him?
Yes. And he gets his head literally punched off.
Yeah, fuck yeah. That's what's going to happen to Hamza Chimaev this weekend. But yeah, I love this film. I was watching it last night again, and I was just like, I get what Ash says, that this is the greatest. And like, I don't think it's the greatest. I think it should be. If someone says that, I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think it's a very fair, and I think it deserves to be in that conversation. To me, I just have a couple of others that jump it, but in terms of like icon of horror, like Freddy has to be top 3 and can be argued top 1. Like in terms of what I love about this film, like you can talk about all the horror aspects of it. The main horror for this film for me is inevitability. Like he's going to get you. It's just a matter of time. Humans need sleep. Like there's a moment in the film which I can't remember if it's in the notes or not, where Nancy's like where she's on the phone with Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. Sorry, I could not fucking remember his name for a second.
Oh my god.
My bad. Sorry, we're getting doxxed. Anyway, make a pint. where he's like, "How long have you been awake for?" And she's like, "7 days," and I know that the world record's 11. So it's like inevitability. Like there's going to be a time where he's going to get you. That's what I think is so smart about this. How Wes Craven kind of took this one aspect that everyone does every single day, sleep, and turn that into something that people are going to fear,
Yep.
which I think is really cool. Yeah, that's what we got to say. Let's get into them. So I've got a bunch of notes for this one. So I haven't really got parts, but I'm just going to stop periodically. As always, shout out if you want to keep on a scene, and
I'll raise my hand.
Yeah, give me. By the way, Byron, whenever you turn your camera off, it's hilarious. Big old image of Conor McGregor just gets shown.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's just big old image.
It's my alt. Usually when I join these channels, I swap it because it's my logo.
Yeah.
This time I just didn't. I was just like, oh, fuck.
No, it's just funny. Like when Ash was talking, and then all of a sudden Conor McGregor's just like. Ah.
I was on mute, but I started laughing.
Yeah,
this one.
That one. Yeah. Jeez, yeah, he's washed.
Like he's yelling at me while I'm talking.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he's a big Halloween fan. Anyway, the film opens with a bizarre sequence where we see an unidentified individual visible only by his hands, creating a strange weapon, a glove with sharp knives for fingers. First off, this knife glove, one of the best weapons in film. Like, it's so...
Has to be.
It's so creepy and unique. It reminds me of... what's the X-Men villain in X2 has the knives that come out of their fingers? Anyone? No. Any people in the comments will know what I mean. But it reminds me of that at all times. Yeah, Bueller. Reminds me of that at all times in oh fuck, what's her name? It's gonna kill me. Anyway, yeah, I just think that this the sharp knives with the glove, the knife glove, whatever you want to call it, the claw hands, really need to be touched on because it's one of the best weapons of all time. Tina, a young girl in a nightgown, is rushing down an ominous. There we go. Ali, I'm 3 sentences in and I'm stumbling. Yeah, well, ominous.
Okay, you're doing your best.
Thank you. Alleyways filled with steam and shadows because that's where good people live. Suddenly, the bizarre man lunges at her, brandishing the glove. Tina screams and sits down bolt upright in her bed, and the entire episode was a nightmare. Tina's mother comes into her bedroom, alerted by her screams, and notices that Tina's nightgown is slashed near her stomach. The cuts are similar to what would have been made with the glove from the dream. A little funny note here. Then her mom's just like, "Hey, you either got to stop having nightmares, or you got to cut those nails." Like,
yeah,
it's like,
that'll solve it.
Mom, shut up. I'm about to fucking die in a couple of scenes. Tina meets her friends at school the next morning. Her boyfriend, Rod, who is such a scumbag. Her best friend, Nancy, and her Nancy's boyfriend, Glenn, who remains innocent. Nancy and Tina discover that they both had the same nightmare, and although Glenn and Rod try and hide the fact, they also seem to be having nightmares too. Everyone's having nightmares. Lol. That night, Nancy and Glenn decide to stay with Tina because her mother has gone out of town. Rod shows up later and frightens the three of them by making strange noises in the backyard and then jumping out at Glenn. Rod and Tina go upstairs to have a conversation, while Nancy and Glenn sleep in separately downstairs. Nancy resists the idea of fooling around by playing Scrabble, of course, since she and Glenn are supposedly there as moral support for Tina. Sure. As they all fall asleep, strange things begin to occur. The wall over Nancy's bed seems to lose its solid form, and the shape of a human figure looking at her seems to lean out of it. One of the greatest shots in cinema. Where he's just like coming through the paint, where you just see like, so creepy. That's what
Matrix
I think is the creepiest shot. Yeah.
Matrix does that a lot with bending reality.
Yeah, do you reckon they got this is like kind of like a little bit of a inspiration? Maybe, yeah.
But also another one of the most literally took influence and then became one of the most influential movies ever.
Amen. 5 out of 5, easily. Nancy does not see it. Her eyes are closed in half sleep, and when she awakens, the form disappears. The room where Tina and Rod are sleeping, Tina is awakened by noises at the window, and someone is in the backyard hurling rocks at the glass. Tina knows that this is whoever has been trying to frighten her. She goes downstairs to confront whoever it is, because that's safe. When she ventures out into the backyard, a phantom voice lures her into the alley, the same as in her dream. She is startled by strange noises such as a goat suddenly lurching into the alley, and then finally her stalker emerges. A man in a fedora, a dirty red and green striped sweater, and the deadly glove with knives as fingers. He taunts Tina by laughing at her, whispering her name, and he walks towards her with her arms stretched out as further than humanly possible, spanning the entire alley, blocking her exit. I love this. This is sick. That one image of him walking down the super arms I find so creepy. Tina retreats into the backyard and the figure leaps out again, this time behind a tree. He slices off his own fingers and strangely coloured blood spurts out. Tina tries to make it into the back door, but the man grabs her and she struggles with him. When we see Tina in bed next to Rod, slashing around, she's been dreaming this incident as well. Only the man seems to actually be under the covers with her. Rod awakens and pulls the sheets off, but he can only see Tina. The man's not there, but she's still reacting as if he is there because he is. But she's being manipulated by some unseen force. Her stomach is slashed open. 4 wounds appearing at the exact same time, obviously from the glove. Tina is dragged, screaming up the wall, over the ceiling, and falls down in the bed, which is now covered in blood. Nancy and Glenn are now awakened, which took way too long, and burst into the room to find Rod gone, apparently out the window. Tina is dead. So guys, any thoughts on the opening of this film? Any thoughts of the first killing of Tina, Rip, and the reveal of Freddy?
Yeah. I think this is one of the best. Actually, I love the opening of this movie. I think it's like really haunting and really like foreshadowy, but doesn't give away too much of Freddy, which I think is cool. But yeah, Tina's death, I think, is one of the better deaths in these movies, in my opinion. I think it's really scary, like watching her be thrown around, like with the blood going everywhere. I think it's really well done. Pretty frightening. Gives you a good idea of what's to come. Freddy doesn't give a fuck. He will do what he has to do to kill these teenagers. What?
I said as he shouldn't.
Yeah.
If he did care, it'd be kind of deflating.
Right. But I feel like he gives the least amount of fucks of like all the villains. Like he just is fucking with them and he enjoys it. But also, can we talk about the parents in these movies? Like, why are they all just not believing their children? That's my like biggest. I mean, it has to kind of work for the plot to work, but I've always laughed at like how much these parents are just so uninvolved in their kids' lives.
There's always one that is just a raging alcoholic.
I was about to say all the parents in this movie look like alcoholics.
Yeah.
But like Freddy couldn't just come back and like fuck with the parents. He had to be like, no, I'm gonna fuck with your kids, your teenagers.
Yeah. And they're like the main 2 parents are like divorced, but that's like it really means nothing. You're like, it's like, why did you put this in there?
It's like they started using it as a side plot, and then they're like, nah, fuck it, let's just forget about it.
Yeah. She's like, Mom. Spoilers for later. What's Nancy's boyfriend's name?
Glenn.
Mom, Glenn got turned into red paste. Can we get real here? Like, some fucking weird shit's happening. She's like, just go to sleep, honey. You're dreaming No, he's across the road. His bedroom's painted with Glenn. We got a nice shade of Glenn on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Get your fucking mind in the game, woman.
Well, Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, that's true. Nice. Let's continue. At the police station, Nancy is giving her account of what happened, and she talks to Lieutenant Donald Thompson, who also happens to be her father. Nancy's mother, Marge, classic, and Lieutenant Thompson are apparently divorced, but that never really goes into anything. And they greet each other with restrained hostility. Rod is obviously the suspect of the murder, but Nancy feels that this is not the case, even though she wasn't in the room. Although Rod has a reputation as a delinquent, Nancy just knows he's not a killer. Nancy walks to school the next morning, and Rod appears and pulls her into some bushes. Sorry, I've got an alarm going off outside my house. Doesn't matter. They're probably No,
Can't hear it.
we're creating a fire podcast. Rod swears to Nancy that he did not kill Tina, but before they can talk any further, Lieutenant Thompson is just there with his men and just arrests not Rod. Nancy's offended that her father used her to capture Rod, but she storms off. It's his fucking job. Get over it. At school, the exhausted Nancy falls asleep in English class, and she thinks that she sees Tina standing outside the classroom. Tina speaks to her from a bloodied body bag, which I think is a sick shot. And Nancy sees that the body bag's being dragged away by an unseen hand, so an invisible man is dragging her away. She drifts out of the classroom and she follows the bloody trail down the hallway. On the way, she's confronted by a female hall monitor who scolds her for not having a pass. Leaving the girl behind, Nancy turns around when she speaks to Nancy in a man's voice, brandishing the weird knife glove and cackling at her. Nancy then goes down to the basement and is confronted by the killer. Who's dressed in the same sweater and hat. His skin is horribly scarred, burned beyond absolute recognition. He traps Nancy in the boiler room and backs her against the wall, taunting to her. "Come to Freddy," he says. But before he could slash her with the glove, Nancy burns her arm on a hot pipe. The burn wakes her up, and she disrupts her English class by screaming and jumping out of her chair, which is nuts because the English teacher's like, "Oh, Nancy, I'm just gonna call your mum." Like fucking, she's obviously going through some shit. All right, like get away from her. Even though she's now awake, she has a large burn mark of her arm. I love this little aspect that no matter what happens to you in the dream, that's gonna happen to you in real life. I think that's a really cool idea. Embarrassed and frightened, she leaves school for the day. She visits Rod in prison and confirms her fears. Rod is having the same nightmare, haunted by the same figure with the glove. She tells Rod that she knows he didn't kill Tina, and leaves. Nancy's having another incident where she is threatened by Freddy. She falls asleep in the bathtub and she's pulled underwater, dragged in into some kind of abyss underneath. She manages to swim back up to the opening of her bathtub and pulls herself to safety. Marge, hearing Nancy's screams, bursts into the bathroom, but Nancy tries to pretend that she simply fell. Marge sends Nancy to bed, but Nancy is now afraid to sleep. She drinks coffee consistently and has a fresh pot hidden in her room, just in case.
I love that shot of her grabbing the extra,
giant pot.
Casual pot of coffee.
Yeah, and then she's taking caffeine tablets, what they call no-dos or something like that. It was like something
Stay awake pills.
Yeah, stay awake or something. Yeah.
Even like coffee does the fucking opposite of what it's always used for. People use coffee to stay awake. Fuck no, it's like completely the opposite for me. The more coffee I drink, the more tired I am.
It's because your energy goes up really sharply, and then you do a massive drop.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, when was the last time I recorded a podcast and didn't have a cup of coffee in my hand?
Yeah, I don't
the
know.
answer is never.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to find a funny
Got me
answer for that.
there.
I was like, yeah, I'm done. I got nothing. Nancy enlists Glenn's help in the experiment, and Glenn, he's keen to help her. It appears as if she asked Glenn to follow her. Wait, did I skip a bit? No, I didn't. Cool. It appears as if she's asked Glenn to follow her, but she's in her night clothes, so we presume that she's dreaming. Nancy goes to the jail where Rod is being held, and by peering into the window, she can see in his cell. Rod is asleep, and she can see the killer is approaching him, walking right through the bars of Rod's cell. Nancy yells out for Glenn, but he is no longer there. Instead, the voice of the killer answers, "I'm here, Nancy," as he lunges at her, clashing her back into her house. She runs inside. She finds she cannot escape because her stairs have suddenly turned into a sticky mess. The killer smashes through the window of the front door and peers inside as Nancy struggles to get away. He's wearing Tina's face as a mask and imitating her voice, saying, "Nancy, help me, please, save me from Freddy." Nancy wakes up and she's furious to find that Glenn is asleep next to her bed, as she's asked him to keep watch and wake her if it looks like she's having a nightmare. So anything to add here, guys? I'll stop here. Anything to add here? Kind of like those scenes of Nancy having all those hallucinations, particularly the bathtub one. I love the bathtub one.
The
Can we
imagery
talk
is
about
really
the
good.
shot? Yeah.
Yeah, the imagery in this like the middle section, they do it like a little bit at the start, and then it was like a full on of really dope images. Most of it is Tina? There we go. It's always her primarily in this middle bit, but all the images are like really, really good. And then when she's running up the stairs, the way it sinks, like that shit sucks. Because if you're trying to run away, the last thing you want is to like slow down. And then I just mentioned running. I'm gonna run. Everyone that runs in this movie runs like a fucking idiot. Why do they run so slowly?
It's every horror film.
They run like they look like they're just walking. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I saw
so much.
I saw a TikTok that was like, if running was real, if the running in horror movies was realistic, because they always like go and they keep looking back.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like if I was in a horror movie and I saw like Jason, I'm like, cool, left turn, sprint. I'm like, and I'm out of there. I'm not looking back.
You wouldn't even get away from Leatherface running like that.
No.
Like
Exactly.
that really annoys me. But I really like these scenes where reality is not reality because it's in the dream, but like everything's just morphing. It looks really, really cool, and that's just Wes Craven's brilliance.
Yeah. He's the
I
goat.
think I love the most about this movie is that like everything's super fluid. Like as you're transitioning in the dream sequences, especially, like everything that happens, like it's just done. With, I don't know that fluid is the word that's coming to me, but you know what I'm trying to say. Kind of what Byron's saying, where it just you do feel like this bend in reality a little bit because every scene is just like kind of morphing into the next one, which is really cool. But yeah, that scene of the claw in the bathtub and her is like one of the coolest shots. Like
Yeah,
ever
the
in a
hand
horror
coming
film.
out is so cool. It's
Yeah, so cool. I love that shot. But yeah, I think this movie is just kind of the same type of thing happening. Like you're progressing in the story, right? It's like you're going to keep having characters die as they dream, and Nancy's kind of the leader of like figuring this all out. So it's fairly predictable in its narrative, but I don't think it takes away from how good the movie
it's not a
is.
bad thing. No.
Yeah, it's like I think I think it's less than 1% of people are lucid dreamers, which means you can control what happens in your dream like in real time. So if you can't do that, you're fucked. Like, there's literally no chance of survival.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is scary to think about. So, and like that would be a stupid thing to put in these movies if like this one person is a lucid dreamer. At least they did with Nancy. They did it like. Which another thing, every time they say Nancy, it's just like I have to keep telling myself that's Nancy in my mind.
Hang on,
because the amount of Nancy.
That's weird to me. Yeah, it's Nancy. It's Nancy.
You don't say okay.
That's Nancy.
I thought you'd be
when you first said it, I was like,
if I say the name, I don't say Nancy.
When you first said Nancy, I was like, he fucked up, but it's okay, we roll. But yeah, that's wrong. That's just not wrong. It's just very wrong.
It's not wrong.
Nancy.
Fuck off.
Fancy sounding.
Dude, the amount of people that think I'm British or Australian is crazy.
That's not Australian.
No, I know, but you said I sound English. Neither.
Yeah, a lot of people do call you Australian.
Yeah, Nancy.
And I don't like that.
Also, not a name that I say all the time.
I don't like that people call you Australian. He's not. Right?
I don't like.
Let's not have you guys fight about that.
He's not.
Also, can I just comment on the crop top?
Yes. Oh my god, I wanted to say that. I don't know how. Pulling it off. I don't know how. He's just.
I just want to say, I think it's funny that men didn't think that like fashion got more forward until recently, because in the 80s they were all wearing crop tops 24/7 and short shorts.
And then when and then Harry Styles wears it again and everyone's fucking going crazy.
What's happening?
That's fucking nuts. Ash, I'm not sure if you watched or listened to last week's episode yet.
I haven't had a chance to yet.
No, it's all good. We did a draft on movies that me and Byron think that we could survive in. Horror movies that we could survive in.
Did you pick this one?
No. We were very much like, this can't. No, this can't happen. But we just want to ask you, what, like, top of your head, what's some horror movies that you think you could survive in? So some of the ones that we said was we think we can survive Scream, because at the end of the day, my reasoning was, they're clumsy. Ghostface are always clumsy, and they're always high school children. And I could beat the shit out of a high school kid easily. Sorry. Hopefully the cops aren't listening.
We did do it in like hindsight. Like we know like to a degree on what to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like The Ring, it's like no one watches VHSs anyway, so that's gone. But off the top of your head,
because I don't have children.
That's true. I said It Follows because, well, anyway. But
I definitely think something like Ready or Not. Like I would go into fight or flight, and I would totally run that shit. Like they'd be gone. I'd be out of there.
Or just leave.
Ready or Not's a good pick.
I think they made it that easy for her to just leave. Everything was locked up. I think Scream is a good one. I think it's an obvious one just because of Ghostface just being like a person, right?
Yeah.
Opposed to like a super strong or super long-term serial killer.
Not immortal.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some, maybe like Child's Play. I mean, just like
Yeah.
punt
Yeah,
that thing
that
into
was
the
on.
river. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, you just fucking send it. There's a good scene in Bride of Chucky where you've watched Bride of Chucky,
Yeah.
where it's where she's the Katherine Heigl's tied up in the van, and she just punts Tiffany into the oven, just sends her. And it's
Such
just
a good scene.
It's so good. It's so good. So I'm like, yeah, we fine. One horror movie I would not survive in. Saw it last night. Any of the Smile movies. Watched Smile 2 last night. It's great. It's horrifying as fuck. It's some of the most. It's like generational jump scares I've ever had. That shit's horrifying.
I mean, anything that deals with like possession, like
Yeah, possession,
Is
supernatural, like
next to no
devil
chance.
shit. No.
yeah, there's a
Conjuring,
there's a good-
Exorcist.
there's a good couple of scenes in Smile 2 that I'm like, if that's happening to me, ciao. Like, absolutely, see you later. I'm gone. Like, see
How
ya.
about Barbarian? Just don't maybe
Go in
book
the
an
basement?
Airbnb.
Yeah,
or
it's
go
easy.
to-
Or, yeah, actually, wait, I used that. I picked that.
Yeah, I'm a hotel guy anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I'm a hotel guy too.
yeah, absolutely. like I love a little continental breakfast.
Of course you do.
Yeah. Continental. Anyway, we go back. Nancy and Glenn hurry over to the jail to see Rod, as Nancy's convinced that the killer is going to strike. Sure enough, before they can even intervene, Rod's nightmare becomes real, and an unseen hand twists his bed sheets around his neck, stringing him up against the cell, breaking his neck. Lieutenant Thompson is skeptical of Nancy's claims that they are being haunted in their dreams. It appears that Rod simply hung himself. Both Marge and Lieutenant Thompson seem to share an unspoken realization about Nancy's allegations, but they will not admit anything to Nancy. They already think like something's happening here with Freddy, but it doesn't matter. Instead, Marge takes Nancy to a sleep clinic where they monitor her body as she sleeps. Her nightmare sends the instruments haywire because of its intensity, and when they wake Nancy up, she has a sudden grey streak in her hair from terror, I think. Grey streak from hair? I don't know what I wrote there. This was late at night last night. You guys got to forgive me sometimes, eh? Like
grey
sometimes
streak.
I'm
Yeah.
not in
Forgive you.
I'm not in a
That was
sane
accurate.
mind. Yeah, it was
That
cool.
was
All right,
accurate.
cool. There is another shock from all. Nancy's unexpectedly holding the killer's fedora, which is pretty cool because now she's got a, like, no matter what happens, she's got a sweet hat now to end this
Yeah,
film.
eBay.
Like, unreal.
eBay.
She says she was holding it when she woke up. Nancy's mother continues to deny that anything is going on as she insists that Nancy get some sleep. Again, all these, like, I'm with you, Ash, these parents. Where did this hat come from then, Mum? Like something.
Well, the
something's
mom
happening.
knows. The mom knows
Yeah.
who Freddy Krueger is,
Yeah.
and she still doesn't believe. Like that's what I think is the craziest
It's
part. is that-
annoying.
It is. Once you know that, it's
You could
very
have saved so
frustrating.
much time, and you could have like saved so much, and
Yeah.
then she's just like, "Yeah, I'll tell you later. Tell you in the third act."
Yeah.
That's why
we
we
still
love
got,
horror
still got
films.
40 minutes to go.
If they did the logical thing, there'd be no movie. So that's
true.
why-
Yeah, that is true.
That's true. Instead, let's light Freddy on fire and make him run through our house. Like, yeah, that's what we should do. Yeah. Hopefully, you got insurance.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead, Nancy produces the fedora and points out that he has a name written inside, Fred Krueger. Marge denies knowing who that is, and Nancy reacts angrily. Nancy has a conversation with Glenn where Glenn tells her that certain Zen masters could control their dreams. Nancy asks what they would do if they met a monster in their dreams, and Glenn said that they would turn their back on it. If you take away a nightmare's energy, it disappears. Glenn is surprised that Nancy believes she will die because of a nightmare. Why is he surprised? Like, two of their mates, their friend group is halved in the last 2 days. You're like, whoa, you think you're gonna die? Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Nancy got like turned into a ceiling fan. Not Nancy. Tina got turned into a ceiling fan, and Rod, who loves life, is like a Christmas decoration in a fucking jail cell. So like this doesn't like open your eyes, Glenn. Open your eyes.
The logical side to them is that, oh, these are just random occurrences, when really the dream thing makes more sense.
Yeah, maybe after one.
Yeah, not after 2.
Not multiple.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't like supernatural noise, this is just like pretend this is real life and it's more of like a Scream type movie. If half your friends are dead, like of course you're gonna be like, fuck, I'm like a target because like there's no way it can happen this many times and it not be on purpose. Idiots.
Idiots. So yeah, Glenn is surprised that Nancy believes that she will die because of a nightmare, and also that she's reading books on creating booby traps and survival techniques. Dude, she's trying to fucking
Home Alone
do
that shit.
something. She's trying to do something here, Glenn.
Just watch Home Alone.
Yeah, Glenn, how about you listen to music and get exploded in the middle of a
Hey,
mattress?
Glenn's cool.
No, I don't know. Man.
Glenn's cool. I
I
like
don't know.
Glenn.
All right.
My favorite character.
Is he?
I fucking love it, man.
You need to start wearing those crop tops to next episode.
Yeah, you'll never fucking see me wear a crop top in your in my life.
I know.
Fuck that. Nope. I'm good.
Nancy's mother finally opens up and tells her the truth. Taking Nancy down there into their own basement, Marge tells her about Fred Krueger, who was a murderer that preyed on young children. When Krueger was apprehended, a technicality, being improperly signed search warrant, caused the evidence against him to be inadmissible. And he was convicted, and he was not convicted and was hence released from prison. As a result, she and Nancy's father, along with other parents in the neighborhood, murdered Krueger on their own by setting him on fire. Marge reaches into her furnace and removes a dirty bundle, unwrapping it and producing Freddy's gloves, which is a weird thing to keep, if I'm being honest here, Margie baby. Like, this is a weird thing to just have. And like, it's like a trophy.
At least sell it. Yeah, at least sell it on like the dark web.
Like, if you're an accessory for murder, if you're an accessory on murder, you're not keeping the weapon in your basement. Like, that's just not happening.
It's just like late night when no one's watching, she's just like got it on, like.
Yeah, she's just loving it. Yeah, exactly. She produces Freddy's glove, which she took the night that they murdered him. Nancy realizes that Freddy is out for revenge and somehow is reaching from beyond the grave to murder them in their dreams. Nancy tries to warn Glenn, but his parents will not allow her to talk to him, which is hilarious. She receives a taunting phone call from Krueger even after she rips the phone out of the wall. She realizes that Glenn is about to die. Nancy can't rescue him because her mother had placed metal bars on all windows and doors.
The alcoholic did that to her daughter,
which is actually quite impressive. Like, that she was that organized to get all that installed.
It's also rather concerning.
Yeah, Glenn
she had this shit prepped.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. Glenn falls asleep and is killed by Freddy by being sucked into a bed and apparently shredded until nothing is left but gore, which erupts into a horrible fountain all over his bedroom. Nice shade of Glenn on the walls. But Nancy realizes that she's now alone and must face Freddy or die. Calling her father, she tells him that she's going to go and get Freddy and bring him out of her dream. She wants her father to be there to arrest Freddy when she does. And Lieutenant Thompson doesn't believe her, but he patronizes her and says, "Yeah, no worries, I'll be there. Just go to sleep." So that enters the final battle. Before I go to the final battle, anything to add here, guys? I hate this scene with the phone call with her dad. Where the dad's like, "Yeah, no worries, no worries." And then, like, even, like, the scene right after that where she's, like, screaming out the window, being like, "Help, I'm going to die." And I was like, "Yeah, I might go check with the lieutenant."
Yeah, that cop sucks.
Yeah,
it's so frustrating that it's her dad, because I feel like they kind of treat it like they have a good relationship in later movie. So it is kind of strange. His behavior, knowing that he was a part of burying Freddy. So
yeah,
I don't understand that exactly, but I love Nancy regardless of her parents. Poor girl, she's got quite a traumatic childhood, I'm sure, between those two. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that I love the parent storyline, but it makes sense. Like, he has to have some sort of motivation.
Yeah.
Even as someone who loves this movie, I don't know that I love, like, the reveal of, like, oh, actually it was us who did this, but yet we don't believe any of you. That it doesn't really make sense. Yeah. But I accept this movie, even with some of its weird choices. I think Glenn's death is also one of the most comedic ones of the movie. You're
not ever gonna convince me that all that blood came from one dude.
There's a lot of blood in your body.
Like that, not that much.
Yeah, there's a
when
lot.
You wear crop tops, you have more blood.
Yeah. You like, if you want more blood.
That was the best thing about that kid, was they got rid of the fucking crop top.
Also, the TV sitting on his lap. Can we talk about that? Like, how heavy do you think that was?
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
like-
I've never even seen a
Sorry,
TV
Johnny, it's gonna be one more
that,
take.
that small before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's okay.
TVs used to be like that, Byron.
I
back in
had
the Stone
a
Age.
box I had a box TV, but never like one of those real small ones. I had
Like a
like those
square.
huge ones. That was like the first TV I can think of that
Yeah,
I
I think
had.
in the
Those
80s
small ones
they
was
were all
funny.
like that as far as like portable TVs. Like
Yeah, it
if
looks like
you had
a
like one of the big ones in the living room, it was like heavy. You couldn't move that shit
yeah,
upstairs.
yeah. We had one of those massive ones.
Fuck yeah. Awesome. Now let's get into it. Nancy sets up a number of booby traps around the house for Freddy in order to give herself an advantage after she captures him. After saying goodnight to her mother, who is now completely wasted, Nancy falls asleep and goes down into her basement. She finds a door that was never actually there before, and it leads to a long staircase into another basement. Lol. She continues to climb further and further downwards, following ladders and stairwells until she is in Freddy's boiler room. Freddy is nowhere to be found, and time is running out before Nancy's alarm goes off and wakes her. Finally, he attacks her and she struggles with him. Her nightmare suddenly shifts and they are outside her house. Nancy's scheme succeeds and she brings Freddy into the real world, holding on to him as her alarm goes off. The booby traps she's rigged for Freddy help her get an edge on him, but she's unable to get the attention of her father. The cop being posted to watch Nancy's house seems to be unable to understand Nancy's help. Unable to understand. Help! Like, I don't know how that's unable to understand.
Here, I'm not sure if you understand this, but like traditionally, women are not believed when they yell help.
Yeah,
So
fair enough. All right, fair enough.
Just saying.
Yeah, fair enough. All this cop sucks. We'll put it on there as well. Freddy chases Nancy throughout her house and down into the basement where she sets him on fire. Lieutenant Thompson breaks into the house, lol, but he and Nancy are shocked to see fiery footprints leaving from the basement. That they follow the trail upstairs and find Freddy struggling with Marge on the bed. I love the shot of the footprints. I think it's really cool. When they pull back the bedcloths, Freddy is gone and Marge is nothing but a charred corpse, and the body disappears into the bed. The supernatural manifestation shocks Lieutenant Thompson, but Nancy seems resolute. She asks to be alone for a moment. When Lieutenant Thompson leaves, Freddy appears, rising out of the bed, and Nancy turns back to him, back on him this time, remembering what Glenn told her. She curses Freddy, telling him, "You're nothing, you're shit." He lunges at her, but her lack of fear renders him powerless, and he vanishes in thin air. The father just saw his ex-wife and his daughter's mother charred corpse disappear into a void in the middle of the bed. 5 seconds later, she's like, "Dad, I need some time alone." He's like, "Yeah, no worries, I'll be outside."
This happens quite often in this movie too.
Crazy.
Because think about Tina. Because think about the start. Tina dies, and then Nancy's like she has like one sad scene where she's just like moping, and then like ever since she's like, "I don't go fuck."
Yeah, exactly. But Nancy leaves the bedroom and finally finds herself outside, dressed for school. Marge stands on the porch and sees Nancy off to school in a loving way, telling Nancy that she's going to quit drinking, lol. Glenn, Rod, and Tina pull up in Glenn's car to take Nancy to school. When Nancy gets in, the convertible slams shut over their heads and the roof is red and green like Freddy's sweater. The windows go up and the car drives off with all four of them trapped inside. Marge seems oblivious, waving goodbye to the kids, when suddenly Freddy's arm smashes through the small window in the front door, and in a bizarre movement, Marge's entire body is pulled through the tiny window and she's gone. We cut to black, and that is Nightmare on Elm Street.
one of my favorite shots ever. I love
Just
it.
pulling her through. Yeah, it's fucking
So
weird.
iconic.
So what is this
It's a great
ending?
ending.
Is this ending just like a nightmare that she's having? Like a post? Like, what is it?
Believe so.
I think
so.
it's open-ended. I think they made it purposefully open-ended. That's my theory, that like maybe, but also I think they just wanted to leave the movie open-ended, like in case of sequels. I genuinely think that.
I'm trying to think of how the second one starts.
Well, Nancy's not in the second one.
Yeah, I know.
She's in the third one.
Oh yeah, and then the timelines all.
Yeah.
I don't
to
know how like
me-
true the timeline is, but yeah.
To me, I just took it as like we confirmed that Freddy's still out there.
Yeah, that's
Like
probably
it doesn't matter what's happening to this group. Like it just kind of confirms like he's not gone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably accurate.
That's kind of how I take it, just because like they
Also,
made another one like directly after.
yeah, there's also when they're talking about sleep, I know I bring this up every time we talk about Jason and or Freddy. Have you seen Freddy versus Jason?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have when the whole like, conclusion of like that group is like, let's put Jason to sleep
Yeah.
so he can that I keep thinking about that moment and just thinking how stupid that is.
It is very
That's the
stupid.
same guy who made Bride of Chucky.
Yeah.
Oh my god, is it?
Yeah.
Oh well, at least
Makes
he
so
made
much
one good
sense.
movie.
Makes so much sense though. But that is Nightmare on Elm Street. Ash, what's your final review? Anything to add and final score?
I think we know the score.
4.
5 out of 5.
Oh.
I don't know. You
10 out
said
of
some
10.
negative things in there.
Again, like I said, I think that this movie, because it's like more of a comedy, and because Freddy doesn't take himself like too seriously, and like he's not just some like serious guy with a knife and a mask that doesn't show any kind of emotion, not
And doesn't
talking,
speak.
walking around. Like I love that he fucks with them. I love that he has these little like quips
Yeah.
and jokes, and it just makes him even more terrifying because of it. And then obviously the dream aspect. I mean, yeah, you go to sleep, which is the one thing you have to do to like survive as a human, and you get fucked with in your dreams, and you have to try to fight him. And like, it's all such a cool concept. Wes Craven is just the GOAT, the best horror director ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the movie looks great. Like I just got actually Adam got me the 4K 40th anniversary copy.
Hell yeah.
Looks amazing, remastered, like every shot, all the red. It's just
Mm.
such a good slasher movie, and I just feel like it's so unique in the genre. And I'm
Yeah.
surprised it's not as loved. Like it's one of the lower rated movies in that kind of slasher classic movie sphere on Letterboxd. Like it's lower than most of the other ones, which is I don't know. I don't quite get it, but I personally love it.
Yeah, it's like of the main like franchises, it's like Scream I would think has the biggest fan base.
Yeah.
Halloween is obviously a lot of people that watched that movie in the 70s and early 80s hold that movie still highly.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, not so much the movies, but Jason has always been like one of the most loved characters ever. And then there's just Texas Chainsaw Massacre and A Nightmare on Elm Street that for some reason, don't get loved because the movies are amazing and the character's amazing. So it's weird that it didn't get the same attention.
It's always been
ones.
strange to me, but
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
I love it, and I am glad that we talked about this and that it was my comeback episode.
Nice. Hell yeah. Byron.
Almost makes me want to leave and then come back to Alien. I used to have this movie around the 3.5 to 4 range from off my memory, and then after I rewatched it for maybe the first time in a couple years, nowadays it's a 4.5. I don't ever see it dropping. Unfortunately, I also don't ever see it getting to that 5 out of 5 star spot because like a lot of movies, there's just a few things that piss me off logically in these kinds of movies, but I think it's amazing. I think it's one of the best horror movies from the 80s. And you know, I attribute it that's one of the best movies of the 80s because the 70s was stacked, like with all timers. I mean, Jaws and Alien. But this one, I think, is one of the best of the 80s. I think Freddy Krueger as a character is amazing. I think Robert Englund, again, I think he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, casting for a horror character.
Oh, yeah.
And I agree with you of how unique that is because it's not like a Jason or a Freddy, Michael, who don't fucking speak and don't really have characters. They have a little bit of backstory, and then the rest of the characters, I kill people. Freddy at least has fun with it and delivers some. I compare it to Chucky in a way.
Yeah.
He's a lot better than Chucky, but at least him and Chucky have actual characters that consistently
personalities.
Yeah, exactly. It makes the movies just that much better. So yeah, I really like this movie. I think Wes Craven did a hell of a job with it. Just all around an amazing movie. It's a 4.5 for me.
Hell yeah.
And happy 40th anniversary because we're coming up on it in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What was it? 80. What was it?
It was 84, and it was like
84?
November 15th or 16th or
I thought it
something. So
was.
we're close.
Oh,
Yeah.
I always think about it as like an 1880, like 86,
Yep,
87.
84. It's pretty
Yeah,
early.
Early 80s. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's fucking
Nice.
great.
Wow.
All right, Harold, you?
I
It's
echo
a double whammy.
I echo everything that's already been said. I think it's great. 4.5. I think this is one of the greatest slasher movies of all time, and I think that Freddy's probably the greatest villain of horror. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's just so inventive. As I said at the start of the show, I think just the idea of turning something that is pivotal to survival, which is sleep, and making that scary, I think is fucking just so sick. So yeah, I think this movie is a requirement for everyone that's getting into slashers. I think this movie is just so smart and fun, and it's just infinitely rewatchable. So good favorite horror, Ash. But before we end the show, we are going into our game of the show, which is a movie draft for best slasher movies, which will be good fun. But for next week, we are entering a new month, and our month is November. And November, we're doing Nostalgia November, which will be good fun. So we're starting it up with The Mighty Ducks. So movies that we find nostalgic, they'll be The Mighty fucking Ducks. Quack, 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 quack.
Super
Right.
nostalgic. I remember as if it was yesterday.
Yeah, amen.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did that shit come out?
Well, for some of us, it was 20 years ago.
When did it come out?
90s. 90s movie. Mate, you were born after Fellowship of the Ring came out, all right?
Get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
fuck you. I'm
Oh,
old.
gee whiz. Anyway, but that's for next week. For this week, yep, let's go into our movie draft best slashers. The order is Ash, me, Byron. Ash, first pick. Give me it.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
Come on.
Thank Christ.
Come on.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Nice one. Me, first pick. It'd be weird if I didn't go Scream, so I'm going to go Scream.
Yeah.
Scream. Now, are we doing if a movie's taken, the franchise is gone? Because there's a lot of good
If
shit.
you got, if I will play by that rule, but you got, if you're comfortable, if you've got enough in your bag without picking dog shit movies.
That's why I want to pick other stuff, but it's like
You want to pick Scream 2 and Scream 5.
my whole
let's
thing is
try to
Scream 2.
keep it- Let's try to keep it to one, but I feel like if we get to like the end and it's like you don't have anything left,
Yeah.
I feel like as long as one person doesn't take multiple.
All right.
Yeah, I like
On a
that.
franchise.
On your own, it's yeah.
I
let's
don't
do
need
that.
to because I've only seen 139 slashes.
Well, good for you.
So first pick. I think
I already know what you're right.
I will go.
I've
with
already
my
written down your
one
two.
is,
I've already written down your two.
oh really? You've
Yeah.
written down my two.
Yeah, because you got
I think I
back to
know.
back.
What's the first one, Harry?
Halloween.
Oh no.
Well, you said Michael Myers. You literally said those words, Michael Myers.
What was the other one?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Correct. That is my first pick.
Yeah.
And then number two, I'm going to stay true to myself, and I think Harry's going to take it because I believe he has seen this movie, and it is the third greatest slasher movie of all time, in my opinion. And it is Dario Argento's Opera.
Ah, good work. I love that. Now,
Beautiful movie.
Suspiria. Is Suspiria a slasher?
No.
That's one of his only ones that isn't.
Fuck, I love Suspiria.
He's got I think from the 8 I've seen, I think 7 of them are slashes.
Fuck.
Or are technically slashes.
I love Suspiria so much. I'm going to go Halloween then, if Halloween's still
Yeah.
on the board.
I figured, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to
Good
go
pick.
Halloween. Has to be.
Well, damn.
For
Good
sure.
pick with Opera. Opera's bad.
Fuck yeah. So good.
And you
Well,
got two, Ash. You've got two.
Yeah. Is American Psycho considered a slasher?
It's not on my list,
He
but I
slashes somebody.
kind of want to give it to you.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
People classify it as a horror film, so
Alright,
It is
yeah.
a horror movie.
There you go. I'm putting it down for you. American
Yeah,
Psycho.
Okay.
You can have it.
I just rewatched that on my 4K Steelbook, and it's amazing.
Did you see that's getting a remake?
Yeah, why?
The book is getting a new adaptation.
Yeah, with Luca Guadagnino.
Yeah, stay away.
Yeah.
But
I'm
did
not
you see?
super intrigued,
But
but
did you see Kev's video on it? Shout out Kev, genius. He's like
Glenn Howerton.
Glenn Howerton's the only
He's
person.
too
who can-
old.
No, he can do
I love
whatever he
Glenn,
wants.
but
he's
he's
the
too
golden
old.
god. He's the golden god.
That's not really like,
Oh,
I don't know. I feel like I
God,
just be like seeing Dennis Reynolds, but like in a Wall Street outfit.
I
don't
am
know.
the golden god.
Ash, the third pick.
Okay. Ready or not?
Nice.
Fuck.
Ready or not, here I go.
Nice
Save
work.
that one.
Nice
Huh?
Never mind.
For my third pick, I'm going with Psycho, Hitchcock Psycho. I think I love
My
Psycho.
top 6 all time are gone.
Really, that's good.
No one will pick 7.
Yes.
I'm gonna go more about variety. And Ash, I apologize. I'm gonna take Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's a
I have
reverse
never personally
slasher.
considered that a slasher because
It's
they're
a
not
reverse
actually.
slasher. It's an accidental slasher. Harry, have you
Okay.
seen it?
Yeah, but not since it came out. I need to rewatch
I don't
it.
think it's a slasher personally,
2009,
but
2010.
Wait,
I will repick if you want.
wait,
no, you
is
can have it.
Again,
It's fine.
139.
Versus Evil.
If you want it, I'm not gonna take it from you.
The horror comedy. I'm seeing a lot of horror comedies. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil on IMDb is a dark comedy, fast parody, slasher horror, comedy horror. That's it. So
I think honestly, if there's any kind of like consistent killing, especially of teenagers happening, it's considered a slasher.
I'm okay with it.
Nice, let's go.
I'm okay with it.
All right.
Byron's you again.
And now the quality dips. Because there have been a lot of good slasher movies. There have not been a ton of amazing ones.
No.
So I'm going to go with
Ooh. What are you going with?
Pearl. I want Pearl.
Pearl.
I'm surprised. There's one I'm surprised you didn't take. Unless I just missed it.
It'll start with B.
Yeah.
L.
BA.
Just keep going. Harry's turn.
Pick number 4. Is Barbarian a slasher?
I don't think so.
No, there's only like 1 or 2 kills, I guess. Damn it. That was really.
It's a weird one that even came to your mind.
Yeah.
You haven't even covered all the movies that you reviewed this month.
I know, but I kind of want to mix stuff up. I'm just trying to think of what you meant with the B then. Maybe.
Surely, Harry, you didn't forget.
What? Oh, Black Christmas.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm not taking Black Christmas. By the way, Ash, did you listen to our episode of Black Christmas? That was like,
I did.
it was me and Byron just like freaking out on this group of people for like an hour.
Being stupid.
Yeah, that was really dumb. Okay, I'm not going to take Black Christmas. I will take Bride of Chucky though. Shout out, Pat.
I thought maybe you were going to get him back on for that episode.
Great movie.
I was going to message you, Pat. I'm so
wasn't
sorry, but
interested.
I just like things went. I just had zero
happens.
time to organize anything.
Okay. My final 2.
Final 2.
Yep.
All right. First, I'm going to take Child's Play 2, the best one,
Nice.
funniest one, best kills.
No Tiffany though. Wow.
I know, no Tiffany.
Child's
No Jennifer
Play
Tilly. It's a
2.
bummer.
I love her.
Where is Child's Play 2?
Okay.
It's after this first one.
I'm between 2 for my last pick. I think I'll go with your next. I wasn't on the episode, so it's
I needed that.
shout out
It was
Erin,
like-
the most badass porno girl ever.
Oh, I needed that so bad.
Ash comes back and fucking screws both of us out of a pick.
Sorry.
Ash, I'm kind of fucked now.
I didn't know that you didn't have any more options.
That's super unfortunate.
No, I got another option.
I have to let you take Barbarian.
Nah, but I don't know why I said it, but in my head I was like, oh, it's definitely not a fucking slasher. Because I was thinking that no
There's
one was
a
gonna take.
couple that I feel like you've got to like that I have on my list.
Yeah, maybe I might be.
Harry, pick the Leprechaun movie.
Oh, I fucking love those movies. Those movies are fun.
Do you
aren't they?
actually?
There's
Oh,
a couple that are like kind of comedy-esque ones that I'm surprised you haven't
Oh, I
picked.
hated those movies.
now, The Descent. Bunch of
No.
people
That's
getting
like
killed.
a creature feature, isn't it? No, or like a isolation kind of horror.
Yeah, right. Well, I've got one that I could just take if I don't think of one straight away. It always comes to the last one, eh? I could go. I don't want Byron. I don't want Black Christmas. I kind of want Hush.
Oh, fuck.
I like Hush. Hush is great.
Good.
I
At
mean-
best.
And we're not doing Strangers, are we? We can't really. Oh, but they're kind of both home invasion.
Honestly, I'd give you it, but I also haven't seen it.
Hush feels more like a specific like not slasher, but like it's one person, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he kills multiple people, so
It's
I feel
just-
like it could be slasher.
Hush is he just kills the one person, or he tries to kill the one person.
I think some people die along the way, right?
Oh yeah, okay, cool. Oh, fuck, I'm going to my original pick. Sorry, I'm gonna go with New Nightmare.
Nice.
Fuck!
Nightmare 3 is still better, but I still like New Nightmare.
Byron, last pick. Close it off.
Oh, fucking.
Byron, you can take another franchise movie as long as it's not one that you've already taken.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
What about your favorite Scream movie?
Could you Scream 4, Byron? That's still on the board.
I don't like Scream 4.
Neither should anyone.
Hey, it has some fun
It has
stuff
some fun.
there.
It's not a bad
Emma
movie.
Roberts as Ghostface is so
Three's
unhinged.
better. Yeah.
3 years better.
Me and Harry, like I swear, me and Harry are the only two that like have.
Three's just-
3 is probably my least favorite.
Nah,
The
3's
everyone else
infinitely
has
better.
4 over 3.
3 is infinitely
That's the one
better.
where Courtney Cox has the bangs that only go to right here.
They both the same rating for me, by the way. Just saying. I'll go. There's a lot of like 3.5s that I like a lot. But I'll go with what my favorite Scream movie, which is Scream 5. Well, technically it's still just called Scream, but Scream
Yeah.
5.
Is that
That's
your
what I
favorite
thought.
Scream movie?
My favorite one, not best one.
That's wild. Nice one. Love
Yes.
that. Love that.
We missed
Love
a lot. Like
Can
X.
I like sprint through honorable mentions?
that. Yeah, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
was gonna say X, Happy Death Day,
Dang it.
Yeah.
Black Christmas, The Final Girls, Sleepaway Camp.
Saw. The first
I
one.
never considered Saw to be a slasher
Yeah,
for some
no,
reason.
I always think that's like a thriller.
I have it as a slasher. Then like the sequels, Scream 2, banger.
Yeah, Scream 2 fucking rules.
Polter Chucky is a good movie.
Yep.
Pretty much all of Dario Argento stuff. Black Christmas, the Black Christmas remake. You had Jeepers Creepers. I'm a big fan of the first 2.
Yeah. And then the rebirth sucked.
I know you did last summer.
Creepers.
Another good one. Candyman, good one.
Yeah,
And
Candyman
then,
was
yeah,
on my list.
There's a lot of good slashes, man.
Nice one.
A lot.
Well, to run through it, Ash had Nightmare on Elm Street, American Psycho, Ready or Not, Child's Play 2, You're Next. Byron had The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Opera, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, Pearl, and Scream 5. Myself, Harry, has Daddy 101. Got Scream, Halloween, Psycho, Bride of Chucky, and New Nightmare. Or Where's Craven's New Nightmare, if you want to be pedantic.
Harry one.
2 Wes Craven movies for you.
It's as if he's the GOAT. Anyway, next week, please watch The Mighty Ducks so that we can start our month of November, nostalgic November, or November nostalgia. We don't know the wording yet, but it is what it is, which we'll be really keen for. So we're watching The Mighty Ducks, Uptown Girls, Mrs. Doubtfire, and we're finishing it off with Uncle Buck. So be keen for that, but until next time, I'm Harry, that's Byron, that's Ash. Loved at the movies, we'll see the movies.